Good morning. Welcome to Board Game Barrister, our local game shop in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's Tuesday once again, and every Tuesday we get to play a game, and we just got to play Order Overload Cafe, a game that's hard to say and even harder to win, and we had a really fun time with it. We're trying to fill customers' orders cooperatively as a cafe team, and we have to remember all the orders we've seen on these cards. We struggled a little bit, but we had a really good time, and we want to play again. So I'm here with my fellow barristers, Elizabeth, Ian, and Gordon, and before we talk about everything we liked about the game and how our game went, we're going to talk about how to play. Welcome to the Order Overload Cafe, where we're going to take a ton of customers' orders all at once and then try to fill as many of those orders as possible before we forget them. The game is played in 7 levels, and if you can make it all the way through level 7 successfully, you've mastered the game in theory, but it's real tricky to do that, and we haven't even gotten close. So to begin each game, we're going to hand each player a special ability card at random, as well as a salesperson token. Then we're going to begin on level 1. So to begin a new level, we're going to take the number of players multiplied by the current level number. So if we were playing with 3 players, that's a 3. So our order taker for the round is going to take 3 cards off the top of the deck, and they're going to read those to the table. I've got a matcha latte, bubble milk tea, and another matcha latte. Then we shuffle up the cards, we deal them out evenly to the players, so that would be the 3 of us, 1 card each. And beginning with the player to the left of our order taker, everybody is going to say 1 card that they think somebody else at the table currently has in their hand. If it was my turn, for instance, I might say bubble milk tea, hoping somebody else has it, and then each player from the player on my left onward is going to announce whether or not they do have that card and get rid of it if they do. This player does. Now, the only way to succeed at the round is to empty a number of players' hands that's based on the number of players we have total. So in a 3-player game, we need to empty 2 players' hands by calling out the orders they've got in their hand so that they can discard them. If we manage to do that, we finish the level and we move on to the next one. But anytime a player calls out an order that isn't in anybody else's hand because they forgot what we heard at the beginning of the round, which is very common, then they have to turn their salesperson chip face down, which means they can no longer call out orders for the rest of this round, so we skip over them. We can still empty their hand though, and that still counts toward our succeeding at the end, so their hand still matters. Now, of course, round 1 is a little bit of a cakewalk. 2 matcha lattes and a bubble milk tea. Not too hard to remember those, but in round 2 we immediately double the number of cards we had last time because it's now 2 times our 3 players. So now we've got 6 cards total. A hot latte, a glazed donut, an apple pie, a soy latte, a cappuccino, and an iced lemon tea. You got all that? Well, you better, because we're about to deal these out among the players, and then you've got to remember the ones other people are holding again. Alright, so we just finished our game with 4 players. Each of us had played the game in some context with some group of people about 1 time before each. I had played with 2 players. You guys have played with 3 or 4 players, it sounds like, all the way up to 6 players the one time you played. And it's got this really cool balance between the number of people you're playing with and the experience of the game. Lower player count means you're hearing fewer orders every round, but you are responsible for more of those because you have to try to get maybe just the one other person you're playing with out of the round in order to win. But with a higher player count, you're going to hear something like 20, 30 different orders, and if you remember some subset of those, you're in good shape to try to knock as many people out of the round as a big team as you possibly can. So it's got this real cool feel no matter how many people you're playing with. Iced lemon tea. Hot coffee. Room temperature coffee. Espresso.
Wow. So I really enjoy playing cooperative games with my group, and we like to play really brutal, hard ones. You know, if the cardboard is going to beat me up, I want to be able to overcome it, right? And this one is no exception to that. It's definitely very difficult out of the box. I've played twice now, and I mean, the first time we didn't even beat level 2. We figured out the rules after that, and now we got to 3. You know, really 3 out of 7, pretty good. But it's really neat because the more you play this one, the better you get at it because you'll be able to see the cards over and over again. So the repetitions are allowing you to remember what the orders are and what the weird matcha latte or bubble milk tea cards are in the game. And that's my favorite cooperative experience. You know, I don't want to just steamroll the game or be able to conduct the game as an alpha gamer trying to tell everybody what to do or what have you. It has none of those pitfalls that a normal cooperative game has because of the cool limited information and memory element to the game. And the replayability is just, we lost and I immediately wanted to just shuffle and start over and play again. I want to memorize as many cards as I can just so I can play better and better and better. Those 1 and 2 stars, they're egging me on. So I want to get it back on the table for sure.
I really like how the game kind of like toys with your brain. It's a really interesting study in, like, you know, brain function and memory, because you get the sort of like primacy bias of the first couple things that were in the customer's order, and then the recency bias of the last couple things you heard on the list. And you just forget everything in the middle. But the really interesting thing is, just like Ian said, as soon as I'm done playing the game, I'm like, no, we can do better than that. There must be a way for me to hack my own brain. I have to be able to, that I'm going to fool myself into thinking that I know how my brain works. And I'm wrong, of course, which is what makes the game so hilarious. But I just love it. It's very tempting. You're like, I want to play again. Focus.
We're starting with bubble milk tea, strawberry milk, caramel macchiato, hot latte, glazed donut, iced coffee, cheesecake, lemonade, iced coffee without ice, chocolate gâteau, hot coffee. This is
The middle,
unreal.
the middle ones are gone.
Yeah, right. Maybe we'll make it through round 3. You can feel your brain building new nerves specifically to measure the degree temperature of the coffees that you've seen in the card deck. Like, you're going to build a new pocket just for hot room temperature or iced coffee, so that you can remember those ones in the middle. Because yeah, if you hear strawberry milk in the middle, or if you hear ham and cheese sandwich in the middle, maybe you're good. But if you hear something boring like iced latte in the center, it's totally gone.
It's gone.
So I like the subtle variations. This is all kind of coming from the same thing that other people have talked about, but I love the subtle variations of the things you're trying to remember, right? Got the degrees of coffee, right? You had your hot, you had your iced, you had your room temperature, your iced with no ice, right? Like, all of these little bitty variations that you have in there. One other thing is that I like while playing it, you have lots and lots of little successes as you're going. Even if you end up failing the round, every time you get that card that someone else turns it over, that is a feeling of success, and that's great all the way throughout. You always feel like, aha, I'm being successful. Oh, not this time. Ah, I'm successful.
Yeah.
Oh, this is very sad. Cheesecake.
No.
No.
Thank you.
Oh my god. I have no idea. That's really rough. Hot coffee.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, the small dopamine hits of being able to get things correct. And even if you get things wrong and you're out for the round, you'll remember stuff and not be like, oh, I hope my teammates get the thing that I just remembered. It wasn't almond caramel latte, it was caramel macchiato latte. And then they're able to get it and you're like, yes, now we get to go to the next level, right? So it always feels good to have the other player succeed too.
Yeah. It's a ton of addictive simplicity in a tiny box, which is Oink Games' MO. Like, that's what they do, is they cram tons of stuff in a tiny box that you can take anywhere with you and then play for hours as you try to get better and better at this fascinating, elegantly designed little game. All right, I think that does it for Order Overload Cafe, the hardest name to say and the coolest little game. Thank you so much for joining us while we played this one. We had a great time. Hope you had fun watching. As always, hit that like button, leave a comment if you got a comment, subscribe if you want to see our videos every week, and check out our online store. We've got Overload Cafe. There it went. Thank you so much for joining us this week, and we will see you next time.